Picture this. You're standing at a presidential campaign rally surrounded by cheering supporters, and suddenly chaos erupts.
Take a look at what happened.
An assassin has just targeted the former president. This nightmare was a reality for Donald Trump on the 13th of July, 2024. In this video, we uncover the chilling details of this attack and 9 other high-profile assassination attempts that shook the world. You won't believe how twisted the motivation of the assassin in number 4 is. Number 10. King Charles III. When you're born into the most powerful royal family, it's safe to assume that someone is always out to harm you. On January 26, 1994, the future king was visiting Darling Harbor to award prizes to school children in front of 20,000 people when life-threatening drama ensued. Approximately 20 feet from where the prince stood on a podium, 2 shots were fired. Before everyone else became aware of what was going on, David King, a 23-year-old university student, charged the stage where the prince was standing, but tripped and was immediately tackled before he could reach the prince. The prince seemed completely unfazed by the commotion. It was later revealed that the shots fired were blanks, but the guards weren't taking any chances. Number 9. George Wallace. The Alabama governor was running for Democratic nomination for president against Republican candidate Richard Nixon in 1972. Arthur Bremer, 21, had determined that it was his destiny to eliminate one of the 2 presidential candidates. On May 15, 1972, Wallace held a rally in Laurel, Maryland ahead of the Maryland primaries. He had just finished speaking to a small crowd and was shaking hands with the people in attendance when Arthur opened fire, hitting George 4 times before being subdued. It was later discovered that Arthur kept a diary where he documented the entire plot. According to this diary, he had originally settled on Richard Nixon, but after realizing he couldn't get close enough to end him, he decided it was Wallace's fate to be assassinated. George survived but was hit in the spine and sentenced to a wheelchair. Eventually, he dropped out of the presidential race. Number 8. Cristina Fernández de Kirchner. Next on our list is the former president of Argentina, Cristina Fernández de Kirchner. Cristina was in the news for the wrong reasons. She was under scrutiny for her conduct in office and had gathered enemies nationwide. On the night of September 1st, 2022, Cristina stared death in the face. She had been greeting supporters outside her official residence in Recoleta, Buenos Aires, when 35-year-old Andrés Sabag Montiel pointed a pistol in her face. You can even hear a click go off in the video. That's right, he pulled the trigger, but the gun didn't fire because there was no bullet loaded in the chamber. Do you think this was a miscalculation or just a threat? Number 7. Shinzo Abe. Former Prime Minister and serving member of the Japanese House of Reps, Shinzo Abe, was in Nara City, Japan on July 8, 2022, delivering a campaign speech for a Liberal Democratic Party candidate when tragedy struck. 41-year-old Tetsuya Yamagami opened fire on the politician, shooting him twice in the chest and neck with a homemade gun, which Shinzo unfortunately did not survive. But the story gets more shocking. Investigations revealed that this crime was a vendetta against the Unification Church, which Shinzo and his family had political ties with. Tetsuya was upset that the church had defrauded his mother and rendered her bankrupt back in 2002. Do you think that's reason enough for an assassination? So far, we've seen many guns used in these assassination attempts, but keep watching to see how our next victim was attacked using a more unconventional weapon. Number 6. Imelda Marcos. On December 7, 1972, the First Lady of the Philippines, Imelda Marcos, was handing out prizes to awardees of the National Beautification and Cleanliness Contest of Nayang Pilipino in Pasay City, completely unaware of the danger to her life. Imelda was attacked with a bolo knife hidden in the coat sleeve of 27-year-old Carlito. He stabbed her chest, but the First Lady managed to survive. She had shielded herself with both hands and sustained injuries that took 75 stitches to close. Carlito was tackled and he can be seen hacking away at others before he was shot and killed on the spot. A close call for the First Lady. The assassin sadly didn't live to disclose the motivation behind the attempt. But that's not the only time the motivation behind an assassination attempt remained undiscovered. In our next case, the assassin lived to tell the story but decided to falsify it instead. Number 5. Pope John Paul II. On the 13th of May 1981, Pope John Paul II was entering St. Peter's Square in Vatican City when suddenly all hell broke loose and bystanders witnessed one of the most shocking historical events. While riding into the square, the Pope was shot twice by a Turkish national, Mehmet Ali Agca, a man who had publicly expressed his disapproval of the Pope and his actions. In 1979, the New York Times reported that Mehmet, who described the Pope as a masked leader of the Crusades, had threatened to shoot the Pope if he didn't cancel a visit he planned to Turkey. The Pope visited anyway, and his decision came back to haunt him. At 5:17 p.m. on May 13th, the Pope was shot twice with a 9mm Browning high-power semi-automatic pistol and critically wounded. No vital organs were hit, and the Pope survived, but the event confounded investigators who couldn't piece together Mehmet's true intentions or affiliations. It didn't help that Mehmet changed his testimony many times. The question that remains unanswered to this day is, was Mehmet working alone? While we may not know that, we do know who our next assassin was. Number 4. Ronald Reagan. The 40th President of the United States, Ronald Reagan, was the target of this assassination attempt. Our assassin, John Hinckley, was motivated by an erotomanic obsession with a child actor. Wait till you find out the movie behind all this drama. On March 30th, 1981, President Reagan left the Washington Hilton heading to his limousine, but soon realized things are about to take a very disastrous turn. John Hinckley Jr. was waiting with a small crowd of people close to President Reagan's car. He opened fire as soon as the president was within range. Hinckley released 4 shots from his revolver, injuring 3 people, including the president. Unfortunately, there was also 1 casualty. Hinckley was motivated by his relentless urge to impress Jodie Foster, an actress he fell in love with after seeing the 1976 film Taxi Driver almost 20 times. Love can make us do some crazy things. If you're enjoying this video, remember to click the subscribe button below. Now, the one you've all been waiting for. Number 3. Donald Trump. On July 13, 2024, Donald Trump was on stage speaking at a campaign rally near Butler, Pennsylvania, and had been on stage for only 8 minutes when he was suddenly face to face with death. Approximately 400 feet from the stage Donald Trump was on, Thomas Matthew Cooks, who was crouched in a sniper's position on a roof, opened fire on the rally, with Trump as his main target. He fired 8 rounds, killing 1 audience member and injuring Trump and 2 other people.
Take a look at what happened.
Crooks was immediately shot by the Secret Service counter-sniper team. This attempt made Americans question the competence of the Secret Service, who had spotted the shooter almost 30 minutes before he opened fire but didn't do anything about it. In fact, after being questioned and berated by Congress, the Secret Service Director, Kimberly Cheadle, resigned in disgrace. Though this is not the first time an attempt has been made on Trump. Number 2. Donald Trump 2016. The first attempt on the life of Donald Trump was on June 18, 2016. Trump was at his presidential campaign in Paradise, Nevada. Michael Steven Sanford tried to grab the pistol of a Las Vegas Metropolitan Police officer to shoot Trump at the campaign. His attempt was foiled and he was immediately arrested. It was revealed that Sanford suffered from several mental health issues and was having a psychotic episode at the time of the incident. Last but not least, we have one of the most controversial assassinations in American history. Number 1. John F. Kennedy. The 35th President of the United States, John F. Kennedy, was assassinated on November 22, 1963, and to this day, questions linger about the true circumstances surrounding his tragic assassination. Kennedy was riding in a presidential motorcade through Dealey Plaza, Dallas, Texas, surrounded by a massive crowd of people cheering for him. The president was in the vehicle with the First Lady, accompanied by the Texas governor and his wife. The next thing they know, chaos. The president was shot and the governor injured, but the killer's identity made all of it more shocking. Recognized as a U.S. Marine, Lee Harvey Oswald, the killer, was arrested 70 minutes later, but in that time he had returned home, grabbed a pistol, and killed a police officer. Crazy! Which one of these assassination attempts shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this content, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next episode of Unreal Captures.